I came across a posting about Osora and people were shouting, BL, BL, BL. Call me shallow. Any murky sign of a BL, I will be clicking in. Osora seems to be about the concept of an arranged marriage, which is nothing new, but having to say your identity is one thing and being at risk of being killed because of a kingdom being weak is a lot. Paired with an op sister throwing you under the bus is even wilder. Osora definitely has one of the more interesting concepts I've seen, and it was just recently turned into an original, so let's talk about it.
Fine, you win with your gay stuff.
We start in a stadium and the main character, Prince Osora, is in the midst of a fight with lead ring soldier Arius. It's obvious there's something there romantically. As Arius makes flirtatious remarks, Arius demands them to lower his arms as he's leaving himself wide open. Osora's father and uncle are watching, commenting, giving an introduction and status to the characters, but we're also getting commentary from the two important side characters, the oblivious Meg of the group, Catalina, who's deeply in love with Osora, and Celia, the sister of Osora. The fight concludes as Osora is pinned and bites Arius's hand. Honestly, they look like one of the people who does bite for no reason, so that's not shocking. They look like they bite, and the fight concludes with him flipping on top of him, but Arius lets him win, while remarking that he's so scary. It's pretty much showing off already who's gonna end up with who in this story, but one of the main points of this story is that Osora is supposed to be wedded off to Catalina. And I say Catalina is the Meg of the story because not only is she annoying, she's really made fun of for her crush on Osora and just strung along. Osora's sister, who's well aware of the circumstances and understands they're not interested in her by any means, instead of being direct, she plays with it because she's an attention seeker. Behold that tea though. Everybody in the house couldn't stand her. I can't stand her. I can't stand her. Another focal point of the story is that Osora is non-binary, or what I read and found off the wikis. What I find interesting about this story is that it's not just, okay, here's a sexuality because we want you to read our story, let's just drop it in just cuz. It's actually playing an instrument in the story. The entirety of the Calavera kingdom is so nimble and in need of a prince because, surprise, Osora's mom died at birth. The uncle says that as far as the kingdom knows, the baby is a boy, signaling King Antonio to tell the kingdom it's a boy. So that genuinely gagged me because I was going to think Osora wants this for himself at first to be male identifying, but I guess that's probably elaborated on later. So Osora has to keep this secret with the revelation that he's supposed to be getting married to Catalina. They're even freaking out to their dad about Catalina and her family knowing possibly this secret, but they already know. We find this out because Osora believes he would have been exempt from being forced into marriage because of his circumstance, but no. The marriage is happening because the antagonists in the story, the Sergos, destroyed the Ferric kingdom. So in 6 months, Calavera will be absorbing the Galeno kingdom to become even stronger and take down the Sergos. A couple of episodes in, Catalina tries to talk to Osora to make him feel better about the circumstance, but it doesn't. I feel so bad for her. Meanwhile, Arius just teases him through the whole thing, and to a certain extent, I feel like Arius was really lacking in personality because I felt like I saw him in either two ways, either macho serious or some kind of flirty.
Gun to your head. Who would you vote for?
The gun would go off.
Nothing else besides being some kind of super war machine to protect Osora. But throughout, there's this playful tension and romantic interest between Osora and Arius that pitter-patters. And I feel like this is so frustrating because Osora is so oblivious that even Arius spells it out for him time and time again, but they just don't get it. And it was adorable at first, but around episode 13, I started getting a little agitated. But let me back up though. Episode 4, Osora and Arius are speaking on the balcony. Arius congratulates Osora for becoming a future married man in flirtatious font. And Osora is upset that he can't make his own decision, but Arius flirtingly suggests running away, and what would the kingdom do without their beloved prince? But they're ambushed by some Sergos and one of the leaders, Apollo. Not that Apollo. I'm glad I don't have to worry about that thing anymore. I think it was a pretty solid fight scene. I gotta give them their 9s for their fight so far. Towards the end of it, when Osora is faced with a finishing blow, he hears the Sergos say, "Go ahead and slaughter me, just like your people have done to thousands of Sergos in the past." Shh, just accept it. Suddenly having remorse and not killing him until his father steps in. Apollo flees and takes note of this, and he believes Osora is the key to destroying the kingdom. We get backstory that 25 years ago, humans invaded their homelands.
Show me to me, please.
And they plan to overthrow. Something I really wanted and want to see is more explanation on their magic and how it works. Cause the way the king was describing them and their magic, it sounded like they had a huge army, but it just looks like an Illuminati circle.
Ugly, 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 ugly. Probably all broke.
But one of the Sergos, Sunny, doesn't like the method that they want to take because they're losing so many of their people. And her and Marius are ordered to take care of Arius because they see how close he is to Osora and he's a potential threat. After this later, we go to Arius's room and we see a girl there, no name, No details, nothing. She appears maybe 2 times this far. And I don't know what her point is. I guess she's just there to show, well, that Arias is bi. One really annoying thing is every single character just seems to have a crush on Arias in like at some point or some way, which leads to everyone just hitting on him. Even though he shows remotely no interest in anyone but Osora, they just hit on him regardless. Constant punchline. Especially from Celia. I've been eager to talk about her for a second because I think she's by far the worst character in the story. Like worse intentionally, not like poorly written. Celia was a character I liked for a split second because of how confident she was before Arias. She was like bougie and confident, but I see it now more as so she's lacking attention because she was overshadowed by Osora. She even admits it because I shit you not, their birthday are like within close proximity, so they end up celebrating it together. And I feel like she's secretly an odd because you know damn well that's Osora's friend, and the amount of times he's told you to back off and you just keep going. Now, around episodes 6 through 9, she speaks to Catalina. She has a moment with her and we get more insight to Catalina's life. Catalina, as she's worshiping the ground that Osora walks on and no one has the guts to tell her the truth, we learn that she was taken advantage of by a past guard and she now only allows a tiger to guard her, and she just absolutely hates men. Now this scene had me absolutely disgusted because instead of saying, hey, you guys are getting married, but truth is Osora isn't really interested in you like that, or maybe, hey, I'm interested in you, but she completely throws Osora under the bus, spilling the beans about his identity as if she didn't know, in hopes of, I guess, like deterring her from, I don't know, because they were born a girl. Like, it's so weird saying, oh, she's getting
you're going to getting married
out of this marriage. You are so gross. You are so fucking dumb and evil. And gross. Just gross. Like, Celia wants the attention on her so bad that following this, she starts getting up and close, berating her with, ooh, what women do you like? That's how I knew she was weird as fuck. She's weird as fuck. But there's a knock on the door from the guards and they have to hide. So apparently homosexuality is completely forbidden in the kingdom. You can get kicked out or even killed. We find this out later from Osora overhearing it. But Catalina, when answering the question, doesn't really seem to know what she wants because she's giving uncertain answers. And Celia's like, well, that doesn't sound like Osora. And she offers to wait for her with the tiger. I think she's the true villain of the story. I'm calling it now. She's gonna end up with Sergo somehow, some way because of Osora. I'm calling it. I'm sorry, I'm calling it. So then we go back to Osora and Arias in combat class, and as they're sparring, Arias kind of toys with him and is flirting with them and seems super unserious, which makes Osora upset, and they both land on top of each other, making them flustered, and kicks him off and runs off. So it's by this point Osora is fighting the feelings for him and doesn't believe he couldn't like them if they knew the truth about them. I really like the story giving thoughts a lot through Osora. It helps you really understand and feel connected with the character, but you know, they're still annoying, but I like it. Arias has had girlfriends allegedly, and it makes Osora jealous, but at least he gets the sense to apologize, I guess, through these thoughts. Later on, Arias is confronted by the 2 pairs sent to kill him, and Osora pops in just in time to wipe the floor with them. Now, everybody just loves to flirt with Arias because one of the duo literally compliments his eyes, like, give it up! I wish Osora the best of fucking luck because the way Osora just gets jealous already, oh, if they only knew. As the fight concludes, Osora is being choked to death by these vine powers. I wish there was more building upon this magic because there's no name for it or any elaboration, but it looks really cool though. Arias, about to kill one of the pair, stops to save Osora when he notices he's being choked out, and the duo flees Team Rocket style. But as this is going on, Osora lands in Arias's arms. Following this, Osora takes the time to rest with him and apologize. And just when you think you see another ray of emotion, of like forgiveness from Arias, or just something different, it just turns into flirting. Talking about, I'll play the part if you want me to, as the damsel in distress. Bitch, bye. Apollo is sitting in the corner invisibly, calling them all types of slurs in the book.
Happy gay month, cause you know you gay.
And basically reports back what happened. The fight catches wind back to Osora's father and uncle, and they commend them for being able to stand up for themselves without the guards. Unfortunately, I have to say one of the most fluid and best conversations comes from the king and his brother. They're not all great because at some point there's a lot of class shaming, like with the brother trying to get rid of Arias and making remarks about the king marrying someone of lower class, but the arguments feel kind of real. And as they're welcomed back, Osora and Arias are greeted by Meg, and she hits them with the googly eyes, asking him questions. I'm like, oh my god, is she in love with Arias too? Come on. I almost ended it all, but it just turned into a recount of Osora and Arias' memories through a Q&A, and she just gets quietly jealous. Arias was traded off as a soldier for food and housing as an orphan, and these two have known each other since they were 10, so I guess they're just meant to be. By episode 14, Celia and her annoying ass is deciding what color for the birthday party should be, and basically explains what I mentioned earlier, cue the flashback, overshadowed by Osora. She even admits it it because I shit you not, their birthday are like within close proximity, so they end up celebrating. But Catalina pities her and says, let's have a slumber party. Just them, no boys allowed, and Rocky, because Rocky is just so lovely. Catalina asks if Arias has a girlfriend. She wants Celia and Arias to be together so she can have her moment with Osora. But Celia doesn't date men, she collects them like trophies and even mentions, oh yeah, Arias doesn't even seem interested when I hit on him anyways. So why do you keep hitting on him anyways? Why do you hit on him afterwards? Moving forward, later on, Osora and Arias are together playing dominoes, and Osora wants to circle back on why did he let him win that match, like 13, 14 chapters ago. And Arias says that he is the only one who likes fighting, and it's fun to see him get mad. He doesn't really answer the question perfectly, I don't know. Osora asks him why, if you train so much, then why did you throw it? Arias says, isn't it obvious? Obviously the answer is he just wants to protect him. I shouted it before like the fucking dialogue was even finished. He then proceeds to get closer and says, do you think I treat my other friends this way? Well, no, if you have any other friends, we haven't seen any of them. You only talk to Osora. But just as they're about to kiss, hands on the chin, Celia knocks in drunk asking for Arias, as if he wants anything to do with her. And her and Catalina butt in to play dominoes with them. And it's just like this awkward clusterfuck. Osora takes his sister back to her room because she's drunk, and it's just Osora and Catalina. And it's just like this awkward thing of like, oh, pick my outfit of sleepwear. Haha, there's nothing under it. Oh my god. Like, I feel nothing but pity, but come on. Later on, we see Osora is just stuck thinking about Arias beating himself up, saying he's messing with them and that they didn't want to kiss them anyways. Bye. And then we see this girl at the end of the chapter, like, who cares about you? Who even are you? You don't even have ears. Osora is one of those series that I think has such a unique concept added to a very common trope. It's already forced arranged marriage slash, oh shit, we've been lying to the castle, so now we're gonna jeopardize not only your safety, but your actual heart and ability to find love. It's like, let's add more problems to your life. Osora is probably the only character I can perpetually like. Maybe Catalina if she gets pointed in the right direction and not just a cruel joke or just be used as like Celia's ego stroke. But as far as the characters, I just generally don't like Arias, and I hope to see more from the character. He feels like a rock that's just there for the sake of, oh, he's attractive. Punchline, punchline. Okay, next. Even the villains thinks he's attractive. Wow. Like, I want to see more depth with him. But then again, we're only on what, like episode 15, 16, 17? Again, I love the use of the sexuality because time and time again, I will see someone say something about a sexuality in a story just cause, and there's nothing to it. It's a highlight, but adds nothing to the story. This does, however. I'm still a little confused with Osora and how this goes on, so I'm going to wait for more information and keep up. I tried to look more into the character, but couldn't find much. I definitely enjoy the old style look of the webtoon. It's almost like the Prince of Southland for me, but with the Prince of Southland, I can go on day and night about how powerful the coloring is and the rendering and how it just all makes sense and just blends in together with the cyberpunk theme. One really obscure thing I love about the art, however, is the eyebrows. I don't know, I just love the eyebrows. It's so random, but I do. I also love the clothing for the the clothing on the men, yeah. I like some of the textures and the rendering within the background. All in all, it's all right. But how do you guys feel about it? You can leave a like, maybe subscribe. Check out the series. Tell me what you think. If you already read it, what do you think? I'll see you guys out. Bye.